All right, unlike today's Chicago Cubs, the Cubs of 1906 through 1910 were not so lovable. Their manager would brawl with his own players, the second baseman and shortstop hated each other, and the star catcher fought with management and left the team for a year. Yet this group pretty much dominated the National League and established a baseball dynasty, winning 4 NL pennants and 2 World Championships in 5 years. A new book shares these stories and more. It's called The 1906 to 1910 Cubs Dynasty, Rowdy Times and the Rugged Men in Cutthroat, Chicago. And author Gary Santella is with us. Good morning, Gary. Good to have you.
Morning, Pat. Glad to be here.
You know, I guess before we talk so much about the team itself, I think you should talk a little bit about Chicago and what Chicago was like back then. I mean, it was like the Wild West.
It was. The city of Chicago was a paradox. On the one hand, it was a brawling, rowdy town. It was dirty. It was filthy, polluted. People walked around the streets. They carried knives, pistols, other kind of guns, billy clubs, and blackjacks. On the streets, brawling was very common. And as a matter of fact, in those days, one of the top pediatric doctors in the area recommended that all young boys should engage in one fist fight every day, just for their own health and well-being. So but on the other hand, it was a magnificent city that was basically the fastest growing city in the world. We had, skyscrapers, the first skyscraper here in Chicago. New industries were started here in Chicago with Marshall Fields and Montgomery Ward, Sears Roebuck. It was a city, while it had its negatives, it also had a lot of positives.
So do you think you had to be tough and nasty to play in Chicago at that time? I
think it was part of the DNA of the game. In those days, you couldn't be a sissy. Okay, you had to basically be tough. Brawling was very common on the baseball field as well, and teams would brawl with the other team. They even brawled with their own players, with their own teammates. There was no such thing as political correctness on a baseball team. If you had told someone that they were not being politically correct, they either would have laughed at you or they would have punched you in the mouth.
Well, what is everybody so angry about?
That's a good question. I think they all lived tough lives. First of all, the ball players, they only made $2,500. That was the average salary. They were tied to a team. There was something called the reserve clause, which basically meant that ball players could not jump their team to go someplace else, so they had no negotiating leverage. And like I said, the city was dirty. The city it was a different world than what we have here today.
Yeah, in sports they talk about team chemistry. How do you win as they did when you don't seemingly like each other?
Well, I think the perfect example of that is Evers. Actually, it's properly pronounced Evers. Mm-hmm. Evers and Chance, Tinker and Evers, with the shortstop and second baseman, mm-hmm. They played very well together, but they hated each other. And they had a fist fight on the field, and they did not talk to each other for years. Like I said, they played well together, and someone asked Tinker, how do you account for this? And he just said, we both love the Cubs. We hated each other, but we both love the Cubs, and we would do anything to help the Cubs.
Was it 1908 they finished tied with the Giants? Was that the year?
That was the year.
Yeah. Talk about that tie-breaking game they had to play.
Well, the tie-breaking game was precipitated by a fellow named Fred Merkel, who a week or two earlier had failed to touch second base when the Giants appeared to have won the game with a ninth-inning single. All chaos broke out. People, the fans of New York, ran on the field.
Yeah, Merkel's blunder.
It was Merkel's blunder. Going back to the game was ultimately adjudged to be a tie. They couldn't continue because of darkness setting in. So the league required there be one game at the end of the season where the tie be broken. And so the Cubs had to travel to New York. Unfortunately, they only had 1 day's notice. And in those days, there's no airplanes. The Cubs had to travel by train. In Chicago to New York, it was a 26-hour train ride.
Oh, my
Lord.
So what they did, the Cubs hired the fastest locomotive in the country to be able to get from Chicago to New York. And they ended up getting there at 9:30 in the morning for a 2:30 game. Now, these guys had been sleeping on the train. They're trying to get their playing legs together. And it was tough. Then they get to New York. They get to the Polo Grounds, which is just filled with people. It was the most highly anticipated game in baseball history at the time. And they walk in from the center field clubhouse onto the field. The Giant fans are just basically taunting them. They're threatening them. The Giant players are doing the same thing. Yet the Cubs, and especially Frank Chance, the manager, the player manager, he walked on undeterred. He was totally confident. He walked onto the field. And the Cubs ended up beating Christy Mathewson and the Giants to win the pennant. Then after the game, the Giant fans, not to be undone by their prior rioting, they rioted again onto the field, and the Cubs had to basically run to their center field clubhouse. Chance actually got hurt by one of the fans, and when people asked their ace pitcher, Three Finger Brown, about what the Giant fans were doing outside the clubhouse, and he just basically said, "There's no way. We don't know. We didn't want to go out and look."
Yeah.
So it was a wild game.
Wow.
All right, the book is the 1906 to 1910 Cubs Dynasty, and Gary will be at Madison Street Books in Chicago later this month and at the Park Ridge Public Library in June. You can also follow him on Facebook. Thanks so much, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.